This week I did a normal mom errand and I bought and returned clothes on Amazon. You might be wondering why I'm calling that a mom errand, but if you have small children, then actually you're probably not wondering. There's nothing worse than trying to go inside of a store and try on clothes while you have two little boys pulling on you and making sure that they have everything that they want. So the easiest way to shop now, really for me, is online. It's just simpler to have everything come to my house. I unbox it, I take care of it at home. As I was doing that, though, I realized this is why Amazon won. Because between printing nothing, boxing things back up, and dropping it off when I had the time, I realized I had absolutely no challenges in my shopping experience. And that's exactly why Amazon won. Not because they sell everything, it's because they remove so much friction from the buyer experience that it naturally created growth for them. And that's the growth lesson that I want to dig into today. See, here's what happens when you buy clothes online. Normally, it's actually a really challenging experience. I have to think about shipping. I have to think about, will what I'm buying fit me? Is it going to look weird when it's no longer in a photo and it's actually physically on me? Am I going to forget to return it? And now, if I've paid for the shipping, do I get that experience back in another way? Because even though the money might be returned to me, it still feels like I'm giving something up when I send that money over for shipping. So is that return process going to be painful or is it going to be easy? Most companies make the customer carry all that anxiety. And let's be honest, if you're anything like me, I make too many decisions in a day as it is. I really don't need to have any more on my plate. That's where Amazon won because they removed all of that. You buy something, you try it, you return it, you move on. It's a very simple process, and that's actually growth. I realize it sounds operational, but let's unpack why that's growth and understand that really here it's about the experience. When a customer experience pays for itself in terms of feeling low risk, they're willing to shell out dollars for it. You've probably heard me use this stat before, but it's the best stat that I have because it's the truth. 86% of consumers will pay more for a better customer experience. I have no idea what my Amazon charges are in a year, but frankly, I don't want to know. They can take all of my money because they make the process so simple and so easy. So let's talk about that because it impacts your business. And there's so much learning to be done when you take a look at Amazon as a case study. The real growth story here is not an e-commerce story. It's that customer behavior story that you heard me talk about in my own experience and making things simple and easy, reducing that friction. In fact, when you look at the company's leadership principle, it actually starts with that customer obsession. So when you go all the way back to 94 and Jeff Bezos sitting in his garage, he started this company with the idea of being customer obsessed. And so working to earn and keep that customer trust has really allowed the company to go to where it's at today. I'll drop some numbers from a couple years ago here in a couple minutes, but I just want you to be thinking about the impact of having customer experience be the forefront of your business, having it be the whole business model. See, what they understand that a lot of companies still miss is that customers don't want your process. They want what feels right for them. I, as a consumer, want what feels right for me. I don't want to have to think about returns. I don't want to have to think about shipping. I don't want to have to go to a store and try on things while I have two boys tugging on me, making that process frictional. I want something that has as little friction as possible, something that's fast and that's easy and that's predictable. And honestly, that's what every customer wants. When you think about things from your own lens and your own experience, and this is something as a business owner you should always be doing, step back and understand, hey, how would I feel if I were going through this experience right now? What would be that experience for me? And if the answer is not good, put the ego aside and make those changes. And I know it's hard, but I think that's the piece that's really so important. I do this and have done this for the last 20 years on the growth marketing side, is going back and saying, okay, would I receive this email the right way? If I went to this event, did I set it up the right way? If I received this paid ad, would I actually click it, right? We always have to put that aside because when we do, we really get to see that customer experience for what it is, and we find things that also can be fixed. So let's talk about why Amazon became the default. If we go back to the fact that they've really put that customer experience first and foremost, I want you to think about this. They've really honestly made the purchase experience kind of magical because for growth, we can't just be focused on easy enough. We've got to be focused on how do we make sure that the customer experience is so great that customers can expect something from us every single time. And now that puts our competition on their toes. And that's really what Amazon did. They trained their customers to expect fast delivery, simple returns, a big selection, transparent thinking, and no drama. And now everybody else competing with Amazon is being held to that standard. And when you think about, okay, everybody else competing with Amazon, who's competing with Amazon? Well, everybody who sells something online. Because I now no longer go to an individual store to buy something. I went to go buy a friend a robe on Victoria's Secret yesterday, and I didn't buy it. $8 cost for shipping. I know that I can go into Amazon, probably find the exact same product or something similar, and now I don't have to pay for shipping because I have a Prime membership. I'm probably guaranteed that I'm going to get it within a couple days, and I'm going to have a better buying experience. So when you think about who their competition is, again, it's not just anybody who might be a big box retailer like a Walmart Plus, who is a direct competitor. It's also Victoria's Secret because I'm no longer going to buy online because I don't want to pay the $8 shipping charge. So those are the things that are a little bit brutal, but it's important when you start thinking about who's competing with Amazon. They're competing with the Amazon standard that's been created. It's not just the company themselves. So I promised you a couple numbers. Let's go back to 2024. That year, Amazon grew their revenue 11% from $575 billion to $638 billion. So think about that for a minute. A company that started in 1994, 30 years later, is growing 11%. That's insane. And so the lesson here isn't necessarily to be Amazon. You're not going to outspend them, and you're not going to out-logistic them. And you're not going to build necessarily the same level of global marketplace, but you can learn from the principle. Here's the principle. Growth compounds when you reduce customer hesitation. Find the friction. Don't worry about what it implicates for the organization. Don't worry about how hard it's going to be to fix it yet. Just find the problem. That's half the battle. Willingly understanding and accepting what the issue is. Then you can bring it forward, and now you can actually start to work on the hidden growth lake. That's where most companies lose growth quietly. It's when there's an opportunity for the customer to have less work and not finding that and removing it. When your demo requests are confusing, if your onboarding process is messy, if your pricing isn't clear, these are all friction points. If that handoff to sales feels a little clunky, or the renewal process for your organization creates some anxiety, support is slow, if nobody knows what is supposed to happen next, I guarantee your customer isn't feeling happy about it, and they aren't going to tell you. That's the hard part. They aren't going to tell you. They're just going to take their dollars and they're going to go spend it somewhere else. So if your churn has gone up recently, that's your indication. Oops, something's broken in our process. If your growth has stopped and you're not bringing in things from the top of the funnel anymore, that's your indication that something is the problem. Oftentimes I see companies trying to put so much money at the top of the funnel because they don't understand that it's actually a leaky bucket on the bottom of the funnel, that there's an opportunity for them to fix the operations piece. Marketing and operations go hand in hand. Growth and operations go hand in hand. Sales and operations go hand in hand. When any of those things are broken, that hesitation that your customer feels kills growth. And it does so quietly because, again, you're not going to see it. Amazon understood this, and they got that returns are not just returns. They are a mom of two boys trying to fit clothes and trying on clothes somehow into her crazy busy lifestyle, and that they need a quiet, safe place at home once her children have gone to bed to go try on those clothes. So it needs to be easy to return them if they don't fit. They understood that was a trust building moment. They understood that the tracking piece, that once I go ahead and drop it off at my local UPS, that logistics piece really removes that anxiety. I know my pieces are going back. I know that I've already been pre-approved for that return to go back onto my account. This is the piece that matters. So the business lesson here for all of us is find the friction, Figure out where your buyer is hesitating and where they might feel unsure, where that handoff is broken, and remove that from your system. Build back that trust in for your buyer, because growth is not about adding more campaigns, emails, channels, or a bunch of stuff to the top of your funnel. Amazon shows us it's actually the opposite. Growth comes from removing stuff, killing the uncertainty, the friction, the delay, anything that makes that buyer experience difficult. Now, Amazon's not perfect. That matters too. At their scale, there are trade-offs. They have to think about market quality. They have to think about counterfeit returns, seller pressure, right? It's not that simple. That's the tension of being in business. That's going to happen no matter what. Growth does create new problems, but can the system that you've built keep earning trust as you scale? That's the question to ask yourself. And that's the thing to be looking at. So when you think about growth actually for your business and what that means, growth is not just marketing. It is the total customer experience that makes someone say, that's easy. I trust you and I want to do it again. It's not a campaign. It's an end-to-end system. It's called a buyer journey for a reason. You've got to fix every single touch point on that journey. And I guarantee if you're seeing symptoms of churn or stopped growth, it has to do with a break in your customer journey. And that whole journey is growth. And that's why marketing touches every aspect of the customer, because at any one of those points, it's not just an operational opportunity to fix an issue and a breakage. There's also an opportunity to market the value you're offering in that system across that entire customer journey. So the next time you're looking at your growth problems, don't start with, we need more leads. Start with, are we making the customer work too hard? At any point in our process, is the customer having to work too hard? If the answer becomes yes, that's why you're seeing churn. That's why you're seeing growth stall. And that's usually the issue, because it's about removing what people are hesitating on. And that's what Amazon understands. It's also what most companies miss. And that's growth actually. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you take these opportunities to look back at your business and remove those friction points so that you can start to see growth in your own company. Have a great day.